What are my options for a multi-terabyte home NAS? I've got a lot of DVDs and have been slowly ripping, encoding, and tagging them, and I've nearly filled my My Book 1 TB. I'm estimating that I've got about 1.5 or 2 TB to go to complete my current collection. I've spent a lot of time on the files, and the peril they are in recently struck home. I had a second 500 GB My Book that I was using, essentially, as a scratch drive, ripping raw video_ts folders to them, and then encoding from there. It failed spectacularly a few weeks ago. I've convinced my wife that we need to redundancy, and she's agreed, bless her heart. What are my options? I'd like something in the 4-6 TB range to give me room to expand. Should I build a machine? Should I buy an off-the-shelf NAS? What are some good brands? I'm not too worried about write performance, as I'll be ripping to a faster drive and then copying once, but read performance should be pretty decent so I can stream video without any hiccups. For the sake of argument, let's assume a budget of $1,500 US.
I'd highly recommend a Windows Home Server, WHS, machine, such as a HP MediaSmart Server or Acer EasyStore Aspire. They are an excellent value, reliable, and very flexible, far more than even a ReadyNOS. You've basically got a Windows 2003 environment to work with. One of these with a set of TB drives would easily fit within your budget. WHS doesn't do RAID, but does provide configurable and transparent data duplication. With WHS, you can also mix and match drives and add/remove them on the fly, as with the Drobo. Honestly, RAID is just a bag of hurt in the home environment. See a bit more info on the HP MediaSmarts in my answer here.
I agree with Rob that for that much data the consumer-level devices get pretty expensive. It may make the most sense to jam a desktop computer with as many disks as possible, since your utility stack probably doesn't have to be particularly robust. The trade-off with a lot of RAID setups is that as the size of an individual disk grows, the much more difficult it becomes to rebuild the array after a drive failure, which will occur. Plan on it. So, you could go with a unit with the largest drives possible, 2 TB. But rebuilding a 2 TB stripe will take ages, and as most devices buy disks from the same batch, and failures come in groups, you face a big risk to lose the entire array should a second drive fail while the rebuild is happening. My recommendation would be to get a unit that offers as many disks as possible and get something along the lines of RAID 6, dual parity drives, to support multiple disk failures. Since RAID 6 is just RAID 5 plus 1 of a parity, you need a unit that has at least 4 disks. The only units that do RAID 6 that would have enough storage I'm aware of are the Drobo Pro, which I've never used this URL, or the ReadyNOS Pro this URL. If you are really serious, you can get the ReadyNOS 3200, which supports up to 12 disks, this URL. The reason why I like the ReadyNOS product line is that they have a really nice set of tools to manage the device, from notifications, backups, remote access, cloud-level backups, third-party add-ons, etc., that the rest of the systems don't seem to touch, and DIY certainly won't. Either way, you're looking at much more than a $1,500 price tag. Not to mention, how do you plan on backing up this data? RAID is not a backup.
Many of these answers provide excellent network-based storage, and many devices are excellent devices, but as any professional system admin worth his salt will tell you, RAID is not a backup. It's not, plain and simple. If you plan your network storage like it is, you will be devastatingly disappointed. Especially with multiple terabyte sized drives, a single drive failure and associated rebuild will immediately and brutally read and write to every sector on every drive at least once. This often causes unknown faults to surface on the remaining disks, which trashes your data. So, consider the options carefully and don't forget that despite RAID's excellent advantages, they should not be considered substitute for a permanent backup. Consider adding an external drive or two, and regularly copy the most critical files off the RAID, and into a safe location.
You might want to check out the QNAP range of products. I think these will do exactly what you want in the price range you specify.
Sorry.